We are Billy Goat. We love you, fam. Hashtag givers gang. 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 We are Billy Goat. We are Billy Goat.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Billy Goat Tales. Appreciate you being in here on a Sunday with us. So we appreciate that. Let's say hello to the team. What's going on, Dave Digital?
What's going on? What's going on, everybody? Happy Sunday. Let's see what's going on. Has the ETH found a bottom? We'll find out.
Redman, what's happening in your world? Good to see you, brother.
Happy Sunday, everybody. I was not impressed with the fight last night. Alex Pereira lost to Magomed. I can't even pronounce his name. Anyways, happy Sunday, everybody. Back to you, Billy.
Yeah. Tex-Mex, Biomex, what's going on?
Xin Shi Tian Kuai La. Happy Sunday. Good to see you all. Tony the Break says hello too. We're looking forward to today's episode. Really excited to see what you guys think about the summit that just happened too. So let's get on.
And Jimmy Jim, what's going on, Jimmy?
And just recovering from a day of card shows and losing an hour of sleep.
Yeah, that time change, man. It always gets us. Let's say hi to the chat, Jimmy. Why don't you go through and say hello to everybody?
Let's see here. Let's rewind the tape here. It looks like, was that Blocky first in the chat today? Well, it looks that way.
That's
And
cool.
who else we got? We got Jesse and Crypto Princess. Hey. She was in early. Mike Ballmer. Name I can't pronounce again. What was his name? Derek? That's what we're going to call him. That's Derek. Andrea, who else?
Alex O
A lot of
Crypto.
repeat names. Yeah, there's Alex O. I see him now. How's it going, everybody? Hope you're having a good Sunday.
Daryl, his other brother Daryl, Anto, good to see you. Good to see everybody. I think Alex rated us again. We had a big bunch of people pre-stream, so that's got to be the blessing of Alex O Crypto. Put your otters up in there, gang.
Otter gang.
Our
Coming
buddy
through.
Alex O, we love you. We appreciate you.
I'll be back. Don't say it as good as Alex O.
Yeah.
Who's your daddy? What does he do?
You guys know the deal, don't you? And Tony, you got an announcement to make, right? Dave?
Sure do. Who's ready to go to Greenville? I am. And I hope that you all are too. We got those Easter eggs. Remember, by April 13th, you have to purchase some more of the NFTs if you choose to do so, to give yourself a chance to get some more of those Easter eggs, because we will be drawing one winner from those that hold our NFTs with the Easter eggs. And that winner will be able to go with us to the lake out there, Lake Hartwell, that Billy has already reserved and booked for the team and one lucky guest. So we will be going on Saturday to the Fall for Greenville. I love how Billy says it. What type of event is this, Billy?
It's a foodie event, man. It's a foodie. Taste of Greenville.
It's a foodie.
So we got a foodie event. There's going to be 6 stages. We got the Sphinx Beer Garden, not the Spanx Beer Garden. You can wear your Spanx if you want to, but not the Spanx Beer Garden, but it's the Sphinx Beer Garden. You can see all the, from last year's event, you can see all the vendors left and right. You can see the different things that people have enjoyed. And so you can enjoy, whether you drink alcohol or not, you can come and enjoy the tunes with us. You can enjoy the experience with us, and being on that lake is going to be one heck of a time. I'm looking forward to it, guys. And if you want to know how to Let me share a different tab. If you want to know how to get one of those NFTs, if you're interested in maybe getting one of those Easter eggs, well, right here on our website, billygoattails.io. I think I need to mute my phone. I think I got my phone blaring the sound.
It must be Nightbot. They say Nightbot's going wild in there.
There you go. But you click on this NFT mint info on the right. You go to the Mint official Mint site. It will bring you here, and you can mint one of the NFTs. So, additionally, there are three Chapter 9 Easter eggs that each have a prize of $500 or 500 USDC. So if you are to mint one of those, not only do you get entered in the trip to go with us to Greenville, you also get that $500 claim. So, and remember, if you want to just use our book and get into and read our book, you have to have one of the NFTs, and it connects you to one of 10 different sets of chapters, because we've broken the 30 chapter book into 3 chapter sections. And there's the preface, tells you all about it, tells you the experiment. What do you mean experiment? Well, we decided to use AI, and we recorded 30 weeks of X Spaces, the first 30 weeks that we held, about 2 hours each. And we used AI to help us to whittle down all that content, because we had over 200 pages almost of content. I think it's over 150 of content for each week of transcript. So we whittled that down, we put it into sections, but then we manually went in and made sure that we gave credit to 172 speakers that spoke during this experiment of creating a professional personal development book, as well as a crypto knowledge book out into your hands. And we appreciate all of you that own them. I think we're going to be looking to see how many full book owners we have. And you know, we're big about making sure the community, let's say you mint a few and you get 3 chapter 5s. Well, maybe you want to switch it up with somebody. I know I've got extras of the chapters, most of the chapters. I'm willing to trade with people. Make sure that if you're going to trade and you're going in our Discord, make sure you confirm the status, because there's always scammers and spammers that are trying to mimic our team and as well as other people. So make sure that you confirm. One way to confirm with the team is that all of us have the founder role in our Discord. So you can find our Discord on our website. Of course, you can go to our website and you can find our Discord right down here. Where's the Discord? Jimmy? What am I missing, Jimmy?
We typically have a link to it.
Yeah, there's a link to it. So there's a link on the website. I'm just trying to.
We did change that around a little bit, so might have got loose. But look,
on our YouTube, we've got all of the links in there, so you can click on our YouTube and go.
Yeah. But the whole purpose, and we try to get the shilling out of the way up front, guys. But the whole purpose of our NFT book is for you guys. So we just want you to own the NFT and never sell it. Tell you the truth, just keep it, because every single month, every single year, we're going to be, if you own that NFT and you have the one with the Easter egg, you just hold it, because we're doing an annual trip. We're going to be doing a whole bunch of other giveaways. The only thing you have to do is hold that NFT. So it's not like you have to keep buying something or anything like that. Just hold the NFT. That's basically like our paid Discord, right? So it's just you get value from holding that, and we're just going to keep adding value to it over and over and over again, year after year, month after month. We're just going to keep adding value to that NFTs for you guys, for our community. So with that, go ahead, Tony.
It is on the Cardano blockchain. If you wanted to look on the secondary market, JPEG Store is one of the marketplaces. Well, the floor right now is 200 ADA, but you can see that there hasn't been any that have been sold. So someone set the floor just to do it. But we've done there's been a lot of trades versus between people, which we think is awesome. And to your point, Billy, we're not really looking for people to go out and sell it and try to make money. The value is really in holding it. And so you can even see the testament that even though there's a floor, nobody's bought or sold any. And I think that's a testament to people just wanting to hold on to it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's good. All right. Well, Red, you ready to do some bubbles?
Let's go. All right, everybody. We got the Buglays here. And this is on the yearly. As you can see, mantra, OM, killing everybody. Right, so that's the RWA play out of Dubai. XRP 251%. Congratulations, Mike Wolmer and the XRP Army. The Wicks, are they in here? I don't know if I've seen Wicks in here yet, but We got BGB down here at 391%, FTN 129. Some other notables, H-bar, throw the monthly. Now, as you can see, super red still on the monthly. Last couple of months, actually, we've been pretty red, but Maker's green, 35% on the monthly. And BCH is green. So, and then you can see down here at the bottom, Monero, the privacy coin. That could be something to watch here in the next couple of months. Let's go to the weekly. Yep, everything's been pretty much right. There's blood in the street, brothers. It's been pretty bad, but as you can see, BCH still 9% still green. So I don't know what's happening there. That seems to be like, isn't there an ETF or something associated with BCH, Billy, or am I wrong?
I'm not sure. I didn't hear about that. With Bitcoin Cash?
Yeah, Bitcoin Cash. Yeah.
I'm not up on that news. If
I
somebody
don't
in
know
chat might
and
know
everything
about
else,
that.
right, but there's got to be some news out there on Bitcoin Cash. Sure. Let's see here. Even in the daily, wow, the daily's super red. Let's see if we can get a bounce here. Let's look at the hourly. Hey, there's some green. Right, so hourly. So we got PiCoin. PiCoin's interesting. It just dropped. It dropped on Pionex. Yeah, so it's on OKX. It's on Bitmart. It's on MEXC. As you can see here, pretty clear. But over the week, it's still down 17% from where it started. And it looks like it got a little bounce here at about 2:08 my time. So we could see this thing go up higher. I know there's a lot of people out there who like Pi, have been mining Pi for the last year or so. Telcoin, not too familiar with it. Probably pretty low on the list. It's in the top 100. It's not really one of those coins I've ever looked at. Hex has got some green. Look, another Hex. Eco's got some green. GT is green. But I'm not really seeing a whole bunch of info on a bounce yet, though. But there's definitely blood in the streets. Anyways, back to you, Billy. That's it for the votes.
Yeah, man. So if one of you guys want to put the link in the chat for DDT, just to make sure we get. I haven't seen DDT yet, but we'll make sure we bring DDT up and check out some charts. Or Alex, if he's in here, somebody, we'll bring it, get some charts going out, go at least go over Bitcoin and Ethereum. But let's get in. What's it?
I went ahead and pinned it to the top. So it's pinned to the top for those that jump in, whether it's DDT. There you go. There's DDT or Alex or whoever wants to jump in. It's pinned to the top.
Our resident chart guys, right? So, yeah. Let's hit the coin market cap. All right, man. So look, market cap's at 2.71 trillion, down 4.6%, and the fear and greed at 24, which is just amazing. You know, are we still in this bull run? Are we still in a bull run? Are we in just a little correction or what? We'll get into that when we start talking about the crypto summit and things like that. Bitcoin down to 82. Let me refresh this, make sure this is still 82,632 for Bitcoin. Ethereum down to could break 2,000. Could break 2,000. Of course, I bought a couple of them last week, so of course it's down. I thought, wow, man, what was it, like 2,200? I was like, man, I got to get some more of that at $2,200, right? So, but those are long-term bad, not trades.
And this is a retest too, Billy, of the breakout at 2,000. So that's where we broke out from. This is finally retesting over long term. So as a trader, I had to go in there. I had to give it a shot. 2,000 long. Let's see.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And XRP down to $2.18. BNB down to $5.58. Solana $127 for Solana. Wow, that's amazing. This retrace has been just massive. Cardano back down to 73 cents. We'll see what happens there. Doge is 17. Of course, look at that. Pi's right there in the number 11 spot. That's amazing. Chainlink down to $13.91 for some Chainlink. Man. HBAR came off its 25 cents down to 20 cents. Look, these are some great pricing, man. This is some great pricing. We'll get into all of that once we get into some of our topics. But yeah, man, it's been interesting. It's been an interesting pullback.
Yeah, it has. I think that I think the market is sitting on pins and needles. I mean, this is what they talk about, right? Whenever a thing is dead and everything is low and the fear is overextended, that's whenever you got to go in. That's whenever it takes the huevos to give it a shot. You know, you got to know which dips to buy, and maybe this is one.
Yeah, Toaster says Ondo at 87. Yeah, Toaster. And Alexander G, yeah, feel free to shill out Princess's website and Discord and Blockies, and this community here is about helping everybody else. So like, feel free to post those in our chat. That's no problem on our end. Dave, you want to say some hellos too? We got some new people in here. You want to go through and say hello?
Yeah, man. Of course, we got, like you were talking about, French Toaster. Jesse's in there. Needs probably a little bit of sleep. Jesse's calling for ETH back to 1800. Jesse's normally on target, so it makes me a little bit nervous with my scalp long, so we'll see. Alexander G saying opportunity, so let's go with that. We got Ernest in there from Gaia. Ernest of Gaia. Tex-Mex Biomex got some new commands inside of the chat, so have fun with those. Let's see, who else do we have? That's who's active, of course, Crypto Princess, Alex O. Thank you, Alex, for rating our video this week. That was amazing. Thank you for rating us today, too. That is amazing. We love you, Givers Gang, Otter Gang Gang. And I think that's pretty much it. We've got Merc, Redman up at the top. I think that's as far as I can scroll. K-Diggs and Blocky.
Nice.
Welcome.
And
Perfect.
so there's Crypto Princess. I just showed Crypto Princess's channel, and I know Alexander G put it in the chat. But one of her latest 5 days ago was Randy Hipper, Miss Teen Crypto, that all of us know. So.
Oh yeah, I haven't watched that one yet either. So sorry, Princess, but I will. You know, I always try to go in there and like and comment. But that's got to be a good one. I saw Rob and Dave's. Yeah. And then there was
Rob
somebody
and Dave
else I
and
didn't know.
Piano Matty B had Piano Matty B, and of course she's got other people as well.
Yeah, and I love the way she pulls the information out. I mean, she asks similar questions, but the answers are so different, and the direction that she's able to go and the information she's able to get are so different. Like Dave's interview compared to Rob's interview, compared to Rob's interview, two different answers to the same dang questions. You know, like just totally just shows that yin and yang that people are attracted to in their show. You know, really cool. I love her style.
Yeah. We got DDT in the building. What's going on, DDT?
Hiya, I'm using a new microphone, so let me know if you can hear me. Otherwise, I'll just switch to the headset, Mark.
I
All
can
good.
hear you, but it sounds like you're in a tin can.
Rubbish.
Let me we'll roll your intro.
There we go. Brought him
Sorry,
right
tech
up.
issues. Is that better?
Close
I'm
and
just
personal.
back on the headset. I've got a USB mic, but I need to get some
Sounds
software.
great.
Yeah, some on the just normal headset mic that I'm normally on. Yeah, all good.
Sounds
Got a
good.
puppy got a new puppy this weekend, so puppy sitting for the
nice.
first few days. So that's why I was just scrambling a bit now. I just had to let him out. He wanted to go
Maybe
out.
we'll
What
have
kind
a
of puppy?
reveal. Are we going to get a puppy reveal?
I'll show you photos in a bit. But yeah, it's a French bulldog. He's 12 weeks, male.
Oh, it's so cute.
Quickly, let's go into Discord. I'll post photos in Frankie's Discord.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, I can quickly show here. Then we can get into charts. But yeah, chilled weekend, puppy sitting, family around. Been a good weekend just to take time off. I'm not interested in this price action at the minute. And
What do you
obviously,
think about
I've got swing trades open, so I don't need to be interested. That's kind of the blunt answer and explanation as to why I can just chill at this
Yeah.
point.
You did the
So,
work
yeah.
already. What do you think about my ETH trade? Am I gonna get my butt handed to me?
Are you longing it?
I'm long from 2K.
Yeah, you basically long for 886. So that's last horror apparently. So I think 1988 or 1998 or somewhere there, just below 2K is like literally the hold me. Otherwise, it's going to get really airy for you, Dave.
I always
So, yeah.
manage risk, but at 2K, I figured you almost have to. You know, you almost have to.
And also as
And
well,
it's a
I think
retest from the breakout, if you think, from the whole
Yeah,
breakout.
that wick's been refilled. So it's obviously filled that whole dump wick, the initial one. Like it's now the third time. But this wick now, the sell-off now has gone lower. So I can show them a bit. You want to show my puppy quickly?
Yeah,
I'll put
but
my-
it's saying we got to remove something from the stage. So Tony, can you take down your whatever you got
Maybe
there?
Someone's screen is on, maybe.
Let's try it now.
Quick,
There we
quick.
go. Well, there we go.
So yeah, he's just
Oh, cute.
just a white. Also as well, they're quite rare. So usually you would get cream or brown or grey. So yeah, new puppy, keep us busy.
Cute puppy. Cute puppy.
Let me just stop screen now. Oh, actually, just so I can get onto the chart side of it, just to clear everything up. But yeah, charts. Share back. Sorry.
Alexandra G liked that puppy picture. She put OMG.
he is naughty. You know, they whelp at night because obviously he's downstairs. He's sleeping downstairs and he's crate trained. So yeah,
That's
he
what
was
you
whelping
think.
them. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
they'll like
Down there chewing some shoes.
Yeah, but the nice thing is he's toilet trained already by the breeder that we brought him from. So yeah, he'll come and bark, like sit in the crate and kind of when you need to let him out. So that's basically now. My wife went upstairs.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so yeah, Bitcoin not doing a whole lot of awesome at the moment. Weekly candle basically filling this wick from last week. We thought we may have got some bullish bar pressure. Money flow is still coming out on the weekly. The issue I have now is obviously we've had a lot of trigger red dots. I think 3-day red dots, 4-day. Yeah, so we've had the 3-day red dot prints over the weekend. We've had the 2-day red dot printing also on like lows. But if anything, this is basically setting up for bull divs, but also as well because the money flow is not ideal. You can have a bull div on the 2-day. You can have a bull div probably on the 3-day, but it will have to turn around. And then obviously the daily bull div is kind of your lowest. I think all the other time frames look absolutely awful at this point. But yeah, so the daily bull div is what we're hoping for. And then obviously I have a small range here. So my dotted lines are as a value area low, POC value area high. If we go down to like the 4-hour, you can see this week what we've done. So obviously we had the open close here last week. And then obviously we came all the way back up, retested. But I think maybe on the daily is where yeah. So we obviously had this. We had this railroad track of vectors, green vector, red vector, pushed down still, and then came back up, rejected the value area low of the extended macro range. So yeah, my levels are a bit wonky because of the volume profile pulls, but the extended level is the level that I've got there on the horizontal line. And it's clearly rejected it off a doji on the red dot with the money flow generally turning down. So it's just, it's not looking good with that. 4-hour, I was hoping for another 4-hour bull div, but this has to set up now though. So obviously we're going to need it to come up and then sweep down again to give us the bull div, let that come up, trend up like that. Obviously maybe not like that, but yeah. I'll probably be looking for 4-hour bull divs at this point to consider anything fairly decent. But for the most part, your best knife catch at this point is probably the wick. Why is this? No, that's on. So Bitcoin, nice knife catch at the moment. It's at 78k wick, but if I just turn my DNPOCs on, my daily naked points control, we have two very strong. We have one at 79.1 and one at 76. And the issue is that those are kind of like the last key levels, because there's no even, obviously you have vectors and you have liquidity here, but it could be just free fall. What I did want to double check is look at where is this thing now? Where's my VRVP? I don't know where it's gone.
You got so much stuff there, you can't pick. It's hard to pick one, man.
Yeah, so this clearly, yeah, sorry, OCD and ADHD is not good. So you have a little bit of volume coming in at 79 around that DMPOC. You're kind of in this wick. Otherwise, what you do is you have the big volume gap to fall off, and you drop down to 76, where my next level is. So if we don't bounce some way soon here, maybe can just try and. But generally, you can see we're just in a bigger volume gap at the moment, right? Once we lost 97, it's just basically been a volume gap with like intermediary levels.
We're free floating right there, man. We're free floating.
We could free float all the way down to 69k, and I think Frankie maybe have said it, and maybe Jason Casper has said it as well. But this clearly shows kind of the issue we have here with price action and kind of what we needed to do. So, yeah, for the most part, if not these levels here at between like 76 and 79, it's another free fall to like back to the forever range, of which I just pulled go back down. Where's the macro VP? There. No, that shouldn't be extended. Yeah, it's a free fall back to like 69k, probably down to 67 is kind of where the most of the volume was traded in this whole range. So yeah, it's not looking good. The issue as well I see is even this weekend, if we just flip over just to order flow and just show some limit stuff, but the issue that I was seeing again is that spot started selling off aggressively. But obviously as well that you can just see here the spikes in spot volume from here. We've had spikes literally the whole day of big sells. And we've just had another big sell now come in on this rate. Don't know how much volume that was, but yeah, there's capitulation again in the air. I think people are just trying to get out and buy back lower. But one of my speculations at the moment, what to share. So obviously, with order flow and kind of the limit orders, you can see there's been big spikes of sells on Binance with the volume at the bottom. So one of my speculations is that some market makers aren't doing their job. They're just allowing the free fall because they don't want to take the risk on. So they're just letting it kind of capitulate, and they'll come back in when they're happy to come back in. So that's kind of where I'm at with Bitcoin.
Let me ask you something. DDT. So are you familiar with how the over-the-counter works? So like when Sailor buys, he buys over-the-counter, right?
Yes.
And I've always been confused as far as how that actually is worked into price action, because it always seems to be a delay from the time that he buys. It seems like 24 hours later you might see a little bit of movement, but it's like, man, sometimes he's bought, $1 billion worth, and you would just think that it would, if you were buying through, say, Coinbase at that kind of level, it seemed like you would just see immediate wick from that. Can you speak on that any?
So OTC, generally, you would have to approach them and give. So it's like an average. You would say, try and get me your best average within the next 3 days. So, but what OTC has already done is they've been picking up. They obviously as well, they'll pick up and keep stock of Bitcoin, kind of that they can move or kind of sell on. But if someone like Sailor says, I want to buy 2,000 Bitcoin or however many it is that he buys at a time, they basically need to then buy that over a period of time, right? The way most institutional or OTC buyers, I don't even know if I have my TWAP on here. Let me just double check. There's a thing called TWAP, which is time weighted average price. It's similar to volume weighted, but it's just based on a time, right? So what happens is, specifically on Coinbase, something that the institutions monitor, either on Coinbase or Binance, is the TWAP, specifically a weekly TWAP or a daily TWAP. And they'll just set an algorithm or a bot to kind of pick up 100 here, 100 here, 100 here, so that it doesn't spike price too much, or maybe doing allocations of like 50 as price is dropping, and obviously get more aggressive. But it's very mechanical. But it's done, I don't know if I even have the chart up, but yeah. So if anyone wants to look, basically, let me see if this can open. I do have it open, but my internet's being slow. Go. Not that one. Share this. So basically, is this Coinbase? So it also as well, it depends. Sometimes they're buying all over the place. They're buying from miners, they're buying from exchanges. But generally, Coinbase is the one that they fire off on. So where the TWAP is like a VWAP, like obviously you would see here, this is a clear demonstration of people selling off the TWAP. So they're sold below, red vector candle shows selling. So literally it's just all of this accumulation here is someone specifically selling off at random point, or kind of 20, whatever the or whatever, how many they want to sell off. And obviously in an uptrend on the TWAP, it would come back, they'd fire an order and obviously buy the high lows. Or now, because it's so far away from the TWAP, there's no real levels for them to actually fire off. So literally they'll just be like firing off every $1,000 or whatever it is. There's a lot of kind of advanced method to kind of how they do it. But generally, from what I've heard from friends of mine who kind of work kind of more with the institution, is that it's generally off the TWAP on Coinbase, specifically Coinbase-based price TWAP. So what do you call it? Institutions, companies like Cumberland, Flow Traders, B2C2 are some of the big OTC desks. They buy off TWAP basically, from what I've heard from my friend. So yeah, there's a lot more to it, but in simple, it's off the TWAP. And then obviously, if it's just in free fall and it's moving away from any kind of volume weighted supports or anything like that, they'll just literally throw in orders every $1,000 or every $500. So like if you like where you're looking here, like you see a lot of the orders are stacked between $500 and $1,000. So you got one at like 66, 665, 67. Like the bulk of the yellows always sit between $1,000 denominator or 500 denominated price, and that's kind of also how they do it. They either do it off TWAP or they just buy as it goes down, kind of. Yeah,
DCA down kind of thing.
Yeah, DCA down. So yeah, that's it in a nutshell. It's something I'm looking into a bit more now as well, because some of the ETFs they buy mainly off the OTC. They buy off Flow Traders or Cumberland. I can't remember the other ones. So I know Fidelity don't buy off Coinbase. Fidelity buy straight off an OTC desk.
Yeah,
the ETF. Yeah. So
let's take a look at ETH real quick.
So I was going to show for Dave for ETH with that 886.
Yeah, Dave's in that trade. We got to show ETH. Show ETH, right? Show ETH.
So the 886 is just basically based off this low, or it's actually lost it, but it needs to get back above this 2025. It's basically this wick low to that wick high. I don't even know if you can actually pull something a bit better to get that's the lowest wick. Yeah, ETH's not looking too good. I'll probably just do this. Hard drawings, see what the volume's looking at the VOEP. There's also not much in a. Yeah, but I thought about 1900, 1920 was like the main. So with the VRVP, the main levels to hold now, which it'll come into. So there's one at 1867, kind of a high volume node. And then the next biggest high volume node is 1600. So it's got to hold kind of where it is now, or at worst, drop to like 1800. I don't know if I'll be able to. Can you get it?
I think I would prefer if it just holds 19 and a quarter, and actually
Yeah,
just holds 2,000 and keeps going up. That'll be fine.
Yeah. There's a 786 that lines up here. And it's not really the best pull, but yeah, like 2000 is a 786, 2005 is a 786. But also as well, ETH needs to yeah, have its time eventually. Daily. Weekly candles probably looking. I think weekly was looking like it was about to cross on the red. Money flow is literally coming out. That's going to cross on weekly close or just after, going into next week. Just need to tidy up real quick, see what else. Yeah, so weekly is not looking good. I think it's on a 4-day. It's getting as bottomed as it could be. Of course, it could be still a little more downside. Geez. 3-day, 2-day bull div did nothing. Daily bull div did nothing. Could put another drive of daily bull div. It's just the money flow is coming out so aggressively. But one thing I have noticed with ETH as well is that they're still staking. They're still stacking this thing on Lido. Like Lido is at its highest levels of staking of ETH, or even some of the other providers, even the ETH nodes. So it's all kind of trying to think who's capitulating now on this. Is it probably just retail or kind of other whales taking profit? Because the analytics or kind of the on-chain data says it's totally contrary to why this thing is dumping when actually the on-chain data looks quite good on it, right? And obviously as well, you have with World Liberty Fire, you have the Trump project, that their company or whatever, they're buying quite a bit of ETH. You obviously have the ETFs, which I think haven't actually sold all that much recently. So yeah, it's quite odd that I think obviously everyone's looking at the new shiny objects rather than ETH now, just because ETH has just been not performing. But
Yeah.
1 hour. Yeah, we rejected this golden pocket the other day and then came back almost in for a double top. So this was last week, Friday, came into the golden pocket. Yeah, this is just not looking good for anything at the moment. 15. Yeah. Money flow, and it's due a bounce, but the thing is
that coming up? Looks like it's coming. I can't quite see. It's dark. Is that coming up or still going out on money flow?
Money flow's flat. It's more flat than anything.
There it is. Okay.
Flat, little slightly coming out again on the 5th. It's just, it's iffy at the moment. I can't really, just based on money flow, I kind of have to say the bad thing, and that's the contrary thing to what people don't want to hear at this point. And it seems it's going to go lower.
Yeah, 30 minutes just printed a yellow X.
It's not caught in enough bids here. Do I have CVD? Yeah, CVD is coming out. This is spot CVD, Binance spot CVD. Oh no, it's on Bitcoin, but you can see as well. Yeah, it's another one of these. Like last Sunday we had a hopium pump, and yeah, I think we got a bit too. I know I got a bit too excited for the fact that we could go up more, and then obviously Monday they slammed us down again. Yeah, 15 minutes still come down a bit. What levels are we looking at? Yeah, 1980 looks good, obviously with the daily and the low of the ranges there. Those levels on TR main. I'm just bamboozled. I don't even look at alts, unfortunately, like all that much, because we've bounced off this value area low at this point, this side.
Yeah.
So that's basically, I don't know. I'm a bit bamboozled with this at the moment. Like it's not.
It's been tough, man. Total crazy action.
97. If it's not in, it's kind of next key. Yeah, it's low 1900s. It's only got this range below it, basically. This is, I think, was this even the? Yeah, this is the bear market range. It's not.
It's crazy.
Market. You don't want to. Obviously, some alts have gone lower than this, right? But yeah, you don't want it to. My line in the sand now for this would be that this value area high. So yeah, like it has to stick in the 1900s. There was no daily points of control there, because otherwise I'd have them on my chart. Otherwise, yeah, it fails this and rotates its whole range. It will go from 1900 down to 1640. And as well, if we, yeah, the VRVP had some levels here as well, obviously, because that's the high volume node. So yeah, locally, like 5 minute is coming up, but yeah, I'm thinking somewhere in this box at the moment is probably where it catches more bids. I could probably see if what's happening on ETH USDT. We've got Binance ETH, no Bybit derivatives, but that's fine. Where's the bids on these bad boys? Yeah, Binance has got the stacked orders at 1900. So the biggest orders at the moment are just below price at 1918, 1981, or like 1902, kind of the highest volume nodes of spot orders. So probably lines up with these. So yeah, probably like that one and that one.
Yeah.
Money flow, yeah, not curving up all that much. It's just, it's trying to come up on the 5 minute, but also as well that like you're pulling at straws there. So
Yeah.
if it does come back up, yeah, I probably think we'd line up with those. Come back up to about 2085 to 2100, and then put in a lower high, and then obviously head down into the 1900s. Yeah, were there any other alts apart from ETH? I'm not really too confident to say anything really on ETH at this point. It's just, yeah.
Yeah,
Not
no,
like
it's been crazy actions for sure. You know, at 1900, man, that's to me a good buy. But hey, we still got to figure out whether we hit the top and then we're coming down, or if it's just going to be a retest and we're going to bounce up. You know, I don't want to front run some of the stuff we're going to be getting into, because we're certainly going to talk about what we think about that. But good DDT. We appreciate it. Hang around with us.
hang around.
Yeah, man. We Red Man, you got a little research action going on over there on your end, right? You ready for that?
Yeah, let me pull it up here. Just real quick, we were talking about Bitcoin Cash earlier, and I did find out that $280 million the buys did come into the project over March 3rd and 4th last week, and the TA looks like there's not going to be a pullback anytime soon. So we could see $400 BCH. That's not financial advice, but it's a good chance. Anyways, so in my research channel this week, I highlighted a coin. It's been out for a while. The reason why I highlighted it is because it is an RWA coin, and I have been looking at more and more RWA projects. It is, the ticker is RIO. It is the Relio network. And the reason why, it's an interoperable layer one. It's on ETH, it's on BNB, it's on Osmosis, it's on 6 or 7 different chains. I'm not going to give you all of them, but it was flagged because I guess lately it's been gaining attention for its practical use case in tokenizing assets. A sector with growing interest as blockchain integrates with traditional markets. It is also a Made in America coin. So I wanted to highlight the Made in America coin from the Crypto Summit last week. So I found this one. I looked at the chart. The chart looks abysmal, but like I said, it's an RWA coin, and this whole sector really hasn't taken off yet, other than, like I said earlier, Mantra. But yeah, if you hold the Billy Goat-Tails NFT, then you're able to access his channel, and you're able to get the information that I put in this channel. So go buy an NFT of Billy Goat-Tails NFT and get it verified. I think Tony is going to be putting out video. Tony, are you putting out a video on how to verify and become an NFT holder in our Discord?
I sure will. I will make sure I have that out by Tuesday. I'll make sure I get that out. Thanks for the reminder.
Yeah, so it's not financial advice. No, I'm just basically talking about coins that aren't talked about on other channels. So these are coins that, to me, they have a lot of upside if they're utilized correctly in the next couple of years. This coin, I'm looking at a 3 to 5 year horizon. You need to let this thing simmer. This is not a get rich quick scheme. You're not going to put $1,000 and pull $5,000 out tomorrow. This is not the fastest moving log. This is invest and DCA and let it grow over time. That's basically what I've done with most of these coins in my research channel. They're not a get rich quick scheme. So I'm not a financial advisor, but these are coins that I feel like have growth potential and could one day make it. So just bringing that up to you guys. Billy, I'll send it back over to you.
Yeah, man. I see Army Piper's in the chat. He's back from that cruise. I said, let's see that tan, man. Come on, let's see that tan. I know you got one, Piper. So good to see you. Thanks for stopping in, Billy Gotiz. We appreciate it. Al Jr., good to see you. Oh, we got Tradefly too. We got them both in the house. Hey, the
And Trader Intuition.
Joe, yeah, good to see Joe. It's pinned up at the top. The link stream is pinned. If you guys want to pop in, we always welcome. You guys are always welcome. You're in the family, so we appreciate you guys. But real quick, just to announce our Tuesday space on X, Tuesday X Space, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are going to be talking with some thought leaders on the art of setting habits, the art of micro habits. So it's going to be a pretty good one. We had a killer space last week. I mean, 300-400 people in that one. It was great. So we appreciate you stopping in on Tuesday, 9 p.m. on Twitter X. We appreciate that. And I think now, guys, we're time to get into some of our thumbnail topics, right, that we put out there. And of course, the big news that every channel's talking about is the strategic reserve and the thoughts surrounding that, and the details come out about that too that we didn't know at the time. So, Dave, what's your take on that whole Bitcoin strategic reserve?
I think I'm probably in the same class as most of the new people, and I still thought that we were going to get significant market action out of it, and we didn't really get it in the direction that I thought. So, I think that there's good things. There's a bunch of good points about what they talked about. I was hoping to see a live stream. We were tuned into Tom Brown, hoping to see him live. They didn't stream live. I was a little disappointed in that. What do you guys think? Were you hoping to see it live too?
Yeah. I mean, I watched the front end of it. That first 20 minutes where then they broke and went in, and then afterwards, some of the folks that were there, Sergey, Brian, CEO of Brian Armstrong, CFO of Coinbase, had some updates for us, right? So like independently, they provided some updates and some thoughts of what was spoken about. I am too, man. I am very amazed, and I thought for sure, if you think back 2 years ago, with Gary Gensler and the SEC, everything that was going on, all the lawsuits. I mean, you had people that were saying Bitcoin's dead. The mass adoption is not going to happen. Where's this thing really going? And then just look at what we have today with the ETFs, with the Bitcoin Reserve, with the Crypto Summit, with just the mass adoption of Bitcoin. You would think that we are in the digital gold rush and people still don't know it. So for me personally, my personal thesis is I'm still buying Bitcoin, right? I buy Bitcoin every week. I'm still buying Bitcoin. It's a long-term play. So it doesn't really matter whether it's 70 or 100. I'm still buying it. And I just dollar cost average in every single week to Bitcoin. I can't own enough of it, right? So what do you think, Jimmy? What's your thoughts on the whole Bitcoin reserve? Jimmy muted?
He's muted.
There we go.
There we go.
I didn't expect a whole lot, honestly. I mean, if you read between the lines of really what was said and what this was about, I mean, it was the equivalent to opening a checking account. This is not something that's costing taxpayer dollars. We've got crypto sitting around. Let's just stick what we've seized or recouped or insert whatever adverb you want in there. But we've got a ways to go before the American people are going to be actually funding that, right? And that is what's going to set things in motion. That's when buying is going to occur, and we're still a little ways off from that. I think it's a baby step. They're doing what they can do within their, without going in front of Congress, having to get their approval, but they're going to have to be on board for it to happen. So if you're putting a bunch of eggs in that basket, which I think you should, in time it'll happen. I mean, but this is just a baby step in the right direction. And on the flip side, I can sit here and say to myself, maybe this is a little bit more manipulation before another announcement comes out. So I'm just sitting on my hands right now is all I'm doing. I mean, I'm salivating over some of these prices. But I think at this point, for me personally, I need to see a trend flatten and start heading the other way before I'm going to do any big buying anyway.
Yeah, so definitely Congress has got to cement the deal, right? So that's something that definitely has to occur. I am a believer. I don't know if anybody's watched Ben Cowan's stuff. He's a chart master, right? Macro analysis, and he definitely is showing that we should probably retrace a little bit more. And he's overlaying the quantitative easing with a altcoin season. So, like if you go back to the charts and you look 4 years ago and 8 years ago, altcoin season ran in tandem with quantitative easing. And if you look at that as part of market cap, you're basically showing that when the altcoins get down to the 25% of Bitcoin's market cap, that's pretty much when it happens to be altcoin season boom. It's just so, like when he said that and was showing that on the charts, you have a 4-year cycle in Bitcoin, and then you also have the macro economy economics, right? And to overlay those two things onto each other and try to come up with a thesis, very abstract, right? You really got to know what you're doing. You really got to look at it. So I was amazed. I was like, wow, that's some good data right there. It was some really interesting data. But yeah, I'm with you. Like opening a checking account, it's like the first step. But for us, to be in this, to be in the crypto community, to be in, a Bitcoin holder for multiple years now, right? For us, it's like, doggone, we're in this digital gold rush that absolutely you can't deny it now. It's happening, right? America's in.
Sure.
So
Yep.
it's like, it feels good. It feels good even at these price levels to be able to continue to get them, because I really don't worry about my Bitcoin long-term price like I worry about some of those altcoin long-term prices, right? So it's kind of like a good feeling to me overall. Just keep buying Bitcoin. That's what I do.
Yeah,
And
the
go ahead.
expectation is real, right? I mean, Bitcoin's gonna, be a solid investment from here until eternity, more than likely, and that's for sure a safe play. But I know you and I both are heavy in alts, and Bitcoin goes to making a free fall here. I mean, then the alts are going to get crushed.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Again.
Our portfolio. Yeah.
Yeah.
Portfolio. Yeah.
So I mean, that's why I'm just kind of sitting on my hands right now, and I really need to see a a direction change. I mean, the direction is pretty clear right now. You know, we're going down. You know, like I've said before, I think there's an order of business. You know, I don't think we're going to see any big action, big movements like everybody wants to see until kind of what you're saying. You know, we got to see some tax rates come down or interest rates come down. But yeah, maybe even some tax rates come down. You know, some money's got to flow back into people's hands because, you know, right now, I mean, you got to go take a loan out to have breakfast. You know, if you want to have a couple of eggs, well, dang, you better have some chickens or deep pockets because it's you know, people are feeling that, and until they can come up and get some air, you know, the majority of people out there, I just don't think we're gonna, you know, see the big moves that we want. I mean, I think it's completely possible in the end of the year. You know, I mean, Trump's making some changes now. Those things are not immediate. It's going to take 6 months for those things to really be felt, you know, be real to people. So yeah, I mean, I'm just going to sit on my hands and wait for a direction change. If it kind of looks like it is, I might start, you know, buying some. But I am definitely a buyer of Bitcoin. We get down in the 70s, I'm all over that. All over it.
Yeah. What do you think about the reserve Tex-Mex, Biomex?
Well, I think like Frankie Candles often says, buy the rumor, sell the news. And so I think people bought as people, you know, people that are like trading often were buying as right before. And then as the pump went up, once it was announced and it went up about 10% or so, then people were selling. And so I think that, you know, I think that sometimes we, you know, get into the fact that this is such a monumental thing, but I don't think that that is spread necessarily across the entire spectrum of people either getting into crypto for the first time or otherwise. You know, it talked about, I was looking, Grok has become one of our resources that we use often. And it was talking about there was no major reaction. And I was asking, you know, what are people saying about all the fake live AI streams and fake streams? Obviously, I mean, Tom Crown, even Crypto Crow, I was checking other people's out. And there was like the Elon Musk AI moderated, you know, thing. Crow was talking about how he can spot AI, you know, really easily. And so I thought that was interesting too. And so for people that maybe aren't crypto natives that saw these streams, I really hope that there weren't a lot of people that got affected by, you know, the QR codes and all this stuff out there. Anybody who is you know, a streamer who was streaming that day was warning people, but that doesn't mean that people are new to it weren't getting hit by that. So anyways, you know, there was a lot of inconsistency and awkward moments and people trying to find the stream. I think it's a positive thing, I think long term, but in the short term, I don't know that there is going to be a pump. And so we just have to continue to watch the market and watch the charts. I mean, some of our favorite people that are that trade, they always say that they don't really look at the news for most of their indicators. So
Yeah, show me the chart, I'll show you the news, right? Type of thing.
we have a special guest in the background. Do you want to bring him up and ask his insight on that? Too?
Absolutely. We have Trade Fly in the house. Josh, we
going
missed
on?
you, man. We missed you. We missed the
What up?
nightcap. Everybody's talking about it. What's going on, brother? How was the trip?
Dude, it was good. It was a nice time, decompress. It was good hanging out with the family, seeing Piper in real life. We finally met. It's so funny because we met and we're just like, it's like I already know you, man. Like it's it wasn't like this big like thing because like I know his facial expressions, I know his mannerisms, so it's like he's like one of my boys at this point. So it was really cool seeing him, and it was just a good time. It really was. There's a lot of easy people. We all got along. You know, no strong personalities, and you know, it was no one getting too hammered. So it was good. It was a good time. But yeah, man, the market is wild. The market is definitely, you know, I was trying to keep tabs on it while I was out on the ship, just watching that thing bounce all around. It was very volatile. So, you know, not surprised really to kind of see where it's at right now. The trend, obviously, you know, is showing it's facing down. And, you know, I think I talked about it before I left, but it was probably about a week ago, 2 weeks, on a couple different channels. And one of the things I'm looking at, or the area I'm looking at, is right around 74 to 72K. And that lines up very nicely with a few things. It's your golden pocket. There's liquidity down there. If you look at the heat map on the 6 month, there's a good bit of liquidity down there. And then it also retests what was previously resistance, right? We're flipping resistance. We get that confirmation of support and keep some bullish structure along with it. So I did hear Jimmy say, like, when he gets into the 70K region that he may, go a little heavier. I'm of the same mindset. I'm lathering in on the way down. I have my lines in the sand. 92K was one, I think 86, 80, and those are my lower capital entries. I'm DCAing in down. So I'm lathering in because long term, I still believe in Bitcoin. I still believe 5 to 6 years, we're not going to be talking about 100K Bitcoin. We're going to be talking about something more. And for me, that lets me feel comfortable with the way that I'm entering into the market now. When it does hit, the big levels, like I think 74 to 70K is a really big primo level. I will go heavier capital. And then as it continues to go down, if it goes down, I will then just lather in. I will go back to, a little bit, lower amount of capital as it works its way down. But when it's all said and done, I'm just going to keep lowering my basis. And, I think that's the strategy I'm taking right now. Even though, a lot of people know I like to trade and do the day trading and the scalp trading. Do not get it twisted. Like, I am still a long-term believer, and I like to treat this more like an IRA, the DCA. The bulk of my portfolio is sitting there. So understand that when we go through these things, it's not a big percentage of our portfolio. It's not more than 1%. I get a little more froggy, 2% sometimes with my portfolio when I'm trading, but it's not this large part of our portfolio we're trading every day. We are not crypto face, so that's kind of how I'm looking at it right now. A little bit more of a conservative approach.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah, everybody's interested in that 70, 72 level. It's a big level. And that would also kind of indicate that the belief is long-term for Bitcoin. And it kind of doesn't matter if this is already hit the top and it's coming down and would go further down. If we're really out of the bull and into the bear, like some people are saying, because the belief in Bitcoin, right? Like you're saying, DCA, IRA kind of thing is like, hey, man, I'm going to own Bitcoin. If I'm buying it all the way down, get my lower average price, that's great. I don't care, because long term, I think these are great prices for Bitcoin. And I think 5 years from now, when we're talking and we say, can you believe we bought Bitcoin at $70,000? I think we're all be like, yeah, that was great times, sort of like 2014, 18, and 22. If you bought in 14, 18, 22, guess what? Next year, 26, that's the next 4 year, right translated cycle. That's the next time that we're probably going to get our best price on Bitcoin. So I'm more in the camp that this is a pullback. We're still not done with the bull market. That's my own personal opinion. But still, it's a great price. Why not get in if you get down in that 70 range? That's a great price.
So
This is
Billy, one of
probably
the other
one of the biggest pullbacks we've had so far as well. Like, I think from 107, 108, whatever that all-time high is now, to 78, was just shy of 28% or something. Like, so 30%, like, people are losing their minds over a 30% drop.
It makes
If
a
they were
lot
trading,
of sense.
if they were trading last run, we had quite a few of those 20%.
Yeah, we
a few
did.
days. So, like, why are people losing
Yeah.
their minds now?
Well, one of the
I
things
don't know.
I did too was measure out the previous range, right? We were stuck in a range for 6 months. So if you take that and you measure from the high to the low, I believe it. I'll pull up. I don't think I have it shared with you guys, but I at least can look at my chart here for reference. I believe it was about 33 or 34% was what it pulled back to at 160 days. So 160 days in, and it was 253 days that it stayed in this range. So it pulled back 33%. And so, that actually aligns with the area about 74 to 70K, right? The golden pocket, where that's, we kind of talked about that. That is sitting right at about 34 cents. And we are currently, we pulled back, I think, a 28 cent or 28% at
28%, give or
110
take,
days.
yeah.
Right. So now, we're really emulating a very similar pattern to what we've seen already. And then if you go back to 2021, there's people saying, hey, we go 50K. It could happen, but that's 50% pullback, and that's exactly what you had on the 2021 high as well. So, and that was before we had the bear market. But what we're saying right now, if you believe in the 4-year cycle, is that we should be theoretically in more of an uptrend based on that cycle. So, I'm still kind of bullish until we start breaking that structure, and then that's kind of where my mindset will change, to be honest with you.
Yeah, like I was showing earlier, we break that 70k level, we get back into the summer or the earlier in this year or last year, sorry, that volume profile range. Probably I'll start literally DCAing out a bit more aggressively, because at that point, obviously you can still put in a high low on the weekly, but then you're starting your dailies flip bearish. At that point, probably you got 2-day, 3-day, 4-day. It's getting more, the odds are getting more stacked against actually. Then you could make a new all-time high, but then it's another double top. Basically, it's going to be like a one last yeet. So kind of my line in the sand is that 69k. We have to bounce at that level, otherwise I'm kind of more flipping bearish and actually just taking more profit out. And that's probably where I kind of have my line in the sand at the moment, to kind of fully flip bearish.
What was you going to say,
agree.
Dave?
I was gonna say, there's one of the aspects of the strategic reserve is that they're not going to spend any new tax money to get it. So that leaves a couple options, right? You have the seized option, then you have another option, which I heard somebody mention earlier, which some say that instead of send it to burner wallets, projects could actually send it to this wallet, to the government wallet. And then that opens up a door also for straight donations, because new projects like Sheep did with Vitalik, sent him billions of dollars, ended up being just in that initial whenever they were launching. So it could be good. There could be a way that we could do it for zero cost, with the donations or burns or seasons or something like that. What do you guys think about that?
I'm contrary on that one because of the legal ramifications around the seized assets. So yes, they can move the seized assets into other wallets, but legally they can't. There's legal implication, because basically what they're doing with Congress and executive orders sits below kind of the level at which needs to be agreed as to them actually being able to take full control of those assets and kind of reserve them.
So you're referring to how they have to sell off seized assets or they have to auction them off rather than sell them for actual value?
Yes, that whole loophole. So basically Trump went around, or the group, whoever it is, this kind of committee, they were trying to go around that, calling it a stockpile, which kind of changes the narrative and the kind of it's like rephrasing it just so that they can get a loophole. But that doesn't mean anything, right? So obviously, yes, they've obviously got the digital asset stockpile, which is all the alts. Then they have the BTC, which is seized, of which they can all pool. The issue is they still need to buy. The problem is how they buy now the reserve, in bracket inverted commas. Basically what happens is that obviously has to go through Congress. And now obviously the new wording is that they're going to be trying to be budget neutral. So if Doge or Elon and his team find savings, obviously they have, because they're firing 50 million people at this rate, they're going to get rid of half the federal government. And they're just trying to find as much money as they can. If they find some savings there, that's probably what they could use. But there's a huge delay because it has to get through. I think they've passed the bills. I think it's just literally just sign off on the funding, which is like 6. I don't think within 6 months we get any news of them actually being able to buy. Probably early next year.
What do you think about projects donating to that wallet address?
Donations is fine. I think they can do that. That's perfectly fine if they want to donate Bitcoin.
It seems like every year on Bitcoin's birthday, somebody donates to the Bitcoin or the main Bitcoin wallet, don't they? So it seems like there is precedent.
Yeah, so my main thing with this is just that they're going to use the budget neutral. But the budget neutral also has to go through Congress. So it's like they're between a rock and a hard place. Obviously, I think the Republicans have the majorities, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, barely.
So it'll be easier for them to pass, but it still has to go through sitting upon sitting upon sitting. It's not like tomorrow they're going to sign everything through.
Even the seized assets, I think that, they say there's 200,
198,000 Bitcoin, I think it was.
yeah. So, but all of those have not worked through the legal process yet, right? So some of these companies that they seize, they're fighting it. They're going through their legal process. So yeah, it's there, but in the end, a court might decide to give some of that back. That whole process is, I would say, it's probably closer to 100, and so until you've exhausted all the legal ramifications around some of those seized Bitcoin, it's probably not truly as much as everybody thinks. We were on a space with a corporate attorney, a crypto corporate attorney, and he represents some of these firms that have had their assets seized, and he's like, yeah, right now we're still fighting through it. They have them, but we're still fighting through it. So, but the fact that they've proposed the legislation and they're still going to need 60 senators to vote. I think the Republicans have 53. So they still need to make sure that there's work to do. There's work to do with the whole legislation piece. But it's still just a great step. I mean, think about where we came. Gary Gensler, I mean, how all of us were like, this sucks. He's suing everybody. There's no ability to even try to follow the governance because there was no governance, and even the founders that were trying to make it legal and do the right thing, they were getting sued. So we've come a long ways with the crypto, and I just think these are great times right now, even with the price action.
One of my contrarian views as well is they sell all the altcoins and then use that so they do sell, which they can, kind of through the DOJ or whoever. Whichever mechanism they use to sell it, they sell the altcoins and buy back Bitcoin. That's probably my other contrarian view on this at this point. That's the easy way to do it, right? Because they take the dollars, and then I think Congress can, because that's free money, budget neutral, they could just use that basically to buy back Bitcoin, although it's not going to be a lot. I think the alts, there isn't much. I know there's quite a stack of ETH, but apart from that, I don't know what, although I haven't not actually looked at their wallets to determine as to what they have. But that would be the quickest way for them to buy now, I would think. They sell the digital asset stockpile on the alts and then just buy back Bitcoin.
We have Darcy Donovan in the chat. Darcy, good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. I don't know if you're still here or not, but I just got the private chat message saying Darcy's in the chat. So Darcy's our great friend over at Stardogs. She's in movies, NFTs, Metaverse, Income Island. So we appreciate you stopping in, taking the time to stop in. If you haven't followed Darcy, go follow her. You want to be around this lady. She's the real deal.
And what do you guys think about
sister?
And
Sorry,
Alexandra,
yeah, she is one of our sisters, and she's amazing in the space, and what they're building over there is amazing too.
Yep.
You can put exclamation point star if you want her X space link.
and Alexandra G put her link as well as the Stardogs links in the chat. Alexandra G is always giving that fire moderator activity and giving us what we need to do. It's about time for me to head out, guys, but I've enjoyed the time. Also check out Stardogs and all the stuff that they've got going on. We had a great meeting with Dylan earlier today just to get more familiar with it. So we're really excited to continue to partner with y'all. And BGT fam, I will let you all go and enjoy the rest of the stream.
Yeah, man. We
Tex-Mex, Biomex.
Let's hit the button, Dave. Tex-Mex, Biomex, boom, 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 boom.
All right, y'all. See you later.
So on the same subject, let me ask you guys. So that seemed to be an interesting invitation list that got to show up. Do you think those guys are going to be able to work together? And what do you think about who they invited?
Yeah, I found it interesting. I was glad to see Brian Armstrong there. Coinbase is a big exchange. Some people can look at that and say, this is just big money taking care of big money. I mean, I can understand that view. But you're also talking about the heads of an industry that has pioneered this industry, that helped pioneer it. So you're talking about a huge knowledge base. If you stripped away their income, if you stripped away their net worth, and you said, hey, I can pick some people that I want to have in the room, those are pretty good people. I mean, look at the adoption that Michael Saylor's had. I remember a time, and you guys probably do too, where a lot of these folks, even Trump 2020, right? Bitcoin's a scam, So once you get in Orange Pill and you really start to learn the technology and understand the technology, then you take your own risk and put your own money into it to build out a successful project like Chainlink, like Coinbase. Man, I think those people need to be in the room. Now, I do think other folks could have been in that room as well. So I see both sides of that, but I'm just happy it happened. I think it's good for the space. I think it's good for the industry. I think, like Jimmy said, we opened a checking account now. It's time to really do the footwork and grind out the legislation and go for it. What do you think, Jimmy?
I
Or
think
Red, either one?
I think it was a big letdown because when we were and TradeFly was there actually with us at the Bitcoin conference. When we were there, Trump was talking about spending how much a day on buying Bitcoin. He was talking there's $55 million a day buying Bitcoin, and for so many days they wanted to get 20% of the total supply of Bitcoin. They were going to make it this big strategic reserve, and then he came through, and then come to find out they're not buying Bitcoin. And yeah, that was a big letdown. And obviously that was a big letdown to the whole community because we're seeing the fruits of that right now. And the thing to me is, Trump has tried to come up with different other ways and not using taxpayer money to buy Bitcoin. And I kind of heard this thing about Fort Knox and all the gold in Fort Knox, and they're going to use the gold in Fort Knox to buy the Bitcoin. That's a little controversial. I'm for it, man, because I think Bitcoin is just a better asset than gold. I think the upside of Bitcoin is better than gold. I own gold. I own Bitcoin. I love them both, but I think Bitcoin has a better upside. What do you guys think about?
Well, first of all, they have to know how much gold is in Fort Knox. I don't think they've done a real audit for so long. All these other countries that, going back to Afghanistan and all these different countries, I'm sure we've accumulated more gold than what's accounted for. They probably don't want to release it because it's probably way more than what we think we have, most likely. But I don't know. What do you think, TradeFly?
Well, I got one thing to say.
I love gold.
Dude, so two things. One, we're in the room. I mean, we're talking about who's in the room. We are in the room now. All right. So for me, that is a big step in the right direction. Just think back, only 6 months ago, Brian Armstrong was peppering the SEC about getting clear guidance and regulation. And now he's in the room and he is part of the conversation on how we are going to establish that. This is what we're looking for, ladies and gentlemen. We've been waiting for adoption. We've got it. That discussion is gone. We're not talking about adoption anymore. Now we're talking about regulation and where are we going to go from here. So that is why, part of the Bitcoin conference, because you mentioned that, why I walked away so bullish was this is it, man. If the orange man gets in, this is going to be the path of least resistance for us, and we are going to continue to grow this community, and it's just going to be bullish for crypto. So honestly, man, I'm still fine with all of this. I know it's oh, we're not buying crypto, but we are finding ways to make it part of the reserve. We're finding ways. You got to work through that. You got to understand the government. If you've worked for the government before in any kind of facet, they are one of the slowest moving entities you have ever met in your life, and it takes time. And Trump has done a lot of weird stuff with the executive orders where he's made things happen that I didn't even know he could do, to be personally honest with you. I've never seen anything like it from a president. But that being said, when you're talking about our nation now starting to adopt another currency and use it as a reserve, that's a huge discussion. And I think it's just a matter of time. I don't think it's a matter of if anymore. I just think it's a matter of when, and we have to wait that out. And it
Yeah.
doesn't bother me at all. Matter of fact, like, push the prices down. I'm okay with it. I told you I have a strategy, and like it's just going to be opportunities for us. And I think if you really look at the psychology of the market and really read about that, the one thing that institutions do is they wait for us to get to that point where you're at so-called extreme fear and you're like, you know what, I'm going to take my profits, or you know what, I don't want to lose anymore, right? That point that like you're beaten into submission and you don't want to play anymore. Well, that's when the institutions now accumulate, and it's the tried and true method, and they do it over and over again. And you used to be able to see it more on the charts when the volume was a little lower and there was less people in crypto. You could actually literally see it on the charts. It's a little bit harder now with how much volume transacts
In the
but-
ETFs. Yeah.
yeah, but it's like you'll see it like when you have lower capital stocks or mid cap, we'll say. If you see those stocks, you'll see the institutional investment, and you draw a vertical line. And when you see that investment come in, retail, understand, is above that starting point. Then what happens is once they've made their money and that company is something happened, right? They probably have insider knowledge of when to get out. They start that move back out. And then you'll see this big dump after that. You can literally see the volume coming in and out of when they take profits. And that is like something like we need to understand. We are always going to be late to the game. We're always going to be behind them. But when you see that spike, when you see the volume come in and you see the institutions start pouring in, then we know, hey, it's time to start adding back into this. Or you can take the approach, the DCA down, but you'll be caught with your pants around your ankles, to be honest, if you just try to wait it out. And then it's like, you're like, okay, the market is turning around, and you're still waiting for like, okay, all right, this is it. Maybe it's going to pull back. We might set a lower high again. And like, you're just waiting and you're waiting. It's like, all right, now we've kind of broken structure, but we're halfway back up to where we started originally. And then you're like, all right, I'm going to get in. And then all of a sudden, like, it happens again, So it's the game they play, man. It's the old tried and true method. But I do think that institutions are still buying. It's on the blockchain. It's proven. We know it. So I'm not going to be scared out of many positions at this point, to be honest with you. So
What do you think, Jimmy? Jim, you was getting ready to say something?
No, I mean, I was just going to key off of what Red said, and I mean, I just think if the things Trump said, I believe will still happen, right? And it's just order of business, let's get the checking account open. Let's figure out how we can get some money flowing into this thing without, having to go before Congress. Ultimately, they will. I think there's a mixed bag of how that vote would go right now. So, I mean, if they can establish, and, there again, I mean, the federal government doing something intelligent and based on data, actual factual data is rare. But, if they can grow that account and have the assets in that account appreciate, I mean, that just makes an easier case, when you do have to go before the House and start getting people to vote. You can show them, hey, this is what we've seized. This is what's been donated. Here's all the stuff. And, oh, by the way, the price action has gone up. I mean, I think it's just part of the process, right? I mean, we've got 4 years to try and get this done. We don't know who's coming next and, which direction the steering wheel is going to turn. But I think, again, we're going down the right road. I think we just got to be patient. I mean, again, this still has all the makings of a much bigger market than what people are seeing right now. I mean, we're way up from the bottom still, even with a 5+% pullback on Bitcoin. We just got to let it soak some more, and just be patient. and keep DCAing. I mean, that is the key here. You know, I mean, is just keep your cost base coming down. It will come back. Um, and if you can't do that, then I would probably say you're too attached to the money that you're invested with right now anyway. You know, I mean, you just got to separate from it and not be putting money that you're hoping or really needing into this period, you know?
Yeah, because really the bear markets have lasted a year. If you go back to all the bull runs, it's 1 and 3, 1 and 3, 1 and 3. So 14, 18, 22, buy, and now to 26. And so you have a year bear every time in a year or 3 years of bull. So if you really wanted to be very, very conservative and very, very cautious, you're just waiting in those cycles and you're just buying it all in, right? So we are in it more for not just the long-term gains of wealth for Bitcoin, but we're the crypto degens, right? I mean, I love the blockchain. I love Cardano. I love what they're doing. I love the solutions that the blockchain provides. So there's just projects that I'm going to always be a holder of, right? So we're in it for more than just like Bitcoin. Although I do believe I learned from my round trip last 4 years, I needed to own more Bitcoin, right? That's what my takeaway was. So I bought more Bitcoin, right? And 22, because we learned when to buy, right? So like my big chunk is going to come in 26. I mean, I'm just prepared for that. That's when the big buy is going to happen in 26, right? So a lot of you guys know. I mean, I'll sell my golden goat for more Bitcoin in 26, man. Whatever it takes, I'll get some more Bitcoin.
Yeah, man. So one of the things that I talk to people a lot about, and it very simplistic way of explaining it. And if you would have bought the top in 2021, 69K in that range, and this is the beauty and the power of DCA, right? The simplistic way. I know it's not perfect, it's not exact, but 69K, you DCA on the way down, right? And I can't remember what my increments were, if it was weekly or monthly. I'd have to go back and look at it. I think it was weekly, but you DCA all the way down through the bear market. By the time you got to 30K, you were break even. Everything after that was profit. And then it's a matter of figuring out, is this your long-term plan for 10 years? Or is this, I want to make some profits and run away, take some DCA on the way out? You can do that as well, right? DCA, say if we thought the target was 100K, like everyone did, then you can DCA out on the way up to that target as well and take profits, and then begin your process again once you've hit that target area, set an all-time high at 109, and then you can start again, DCA in all the way down, unless you think, as some people do, this bull run's not over. You know, then that might be different. You think about it. But the point of the story is, you could have started at the top. You could have DCA'd all the way through the bull market, and then halfway back up, you're in profit. And so, like, that's the big thing to understand. And that is the power of DCA. And that is the power of not being attached to your money, as Jimmy was saying, which means you have invested too much and you went too hard in the paint too quick. And that's why, you know, you're upside down. And so, you know, take that money that you're willing to put in, right? Just like a traditional investment, and just keep putting it in. Just keep putting it in. And yeah, man, I'm excited. Honestly, I mean, this sucks for some people.
At 24. I mean, we haven't ended we haven't ended a bull run in fear and greed the way we are right now. You know, I mean, it's always ended in a euphoric state, right? I mean, so I mean, I still think it's on. We're just going through some stuff, you know.
There's a reason
we're not
the
ending the
index
marriage.
exists, right? There's a reason for it. Like,
Right.
it's actually a strategy for some people. They will invest when fear and greed is at its worst, and they will sell off when fear and greed is at its best. Like
Yep.
the reason it exists is because of institutional investment, right? This is now saying, hey, this is a little easy way to kind of take a metric and be like, well, when do the big dogs get in? Well, the big dogs get in when you're scared and you're selling off. When you have these sell-offs, that's when it's time for them to play. So you start thinking about it like smart money. And that's why I'm getting more excited, and why I said, hey, when we pull back to, you know, the golden pocket, that's going to be a higher capital play for me. Like, I will take my DCA strategy and I will probably double to triple it when we pull back a little bit, and then I'll tailor it back again if we continue to go down. But again, I don't know. I'm, you know what? I got to shout out everybody in the chat real quick, because
Yeah, man.
I see the rib chat flowing right now. So I want to say what's up to everybody. I know they're giving me or heckling me about Nightcap right now, but hey, I'm trying my best to be present.
It's just because we miss you, brother. It's just because we miss you. That's a great pocket right there, that 8 o'clock hour. And like in other chats where you guys are on the cruise, it'd be like, man, we missed Nightcap. We don't know what to do with ourselves now. You know? So, but we
Yeah,
get
I'll
it,
tell you what,
man.
the
It's all about
Discord,
love. It's all about
the
love.
Discord, when we decided, well, when I was like, my schedule, I really can't dictate my schedule, but when I was like, hey, I got to step back for a little bit, the Discord, like, that was the most action we've seen in the Discord for probably months after that. So we're gonna work on it. If my schedule changes again, I will bring the rib chat back to life. I promise.
Oh, I told everybody, Piper and Tradefly, they're on the same boat. They're going to come back with a plan. Trust me. They're going to come back with a plan, man. So
No doubt, no doubt. There are some plans actually, but
there you go.
we'll see.
I get it. I get it, man. So
Well, I think
go ahead, Dave.
oh, I was just gonna go along the same subject. Did you want to say something first, Bill?
No, go ahead, man. Go ahead, hit it.
Yeah. So I think there was some good stuff that came out of the whole summit thing. At least we got a hard date, supposedly, right? So at the end of the August session, they're supposed to give us some sort of regulatory framework. Do you guys have a wish list of what's going to be on there, or have you heard what is going to be on there, or what do you think is going to be on there? Tell me about that.
Well, you know, they kicked around the no capital gains on crypto. That would be huge. That would be absolutely a game changer.
Made in the USA.
For me, explain that what that means, Billy. Does that just mean explain that exactly? When does a capital gains occur?
So right now, if you buy and then you sell, that's a transaction. That is you'd have to, whether it's over a year or under a year, you have short-term or long-term capital gains tax that you have to pay. So when you get rid of that, 25% capital gains, that's huge, right? So think about all the traders, right? The traders, they're in and out all the time, several times a day. They have to pay capital gains on that. Now they can be registered as an exemption that helps reduce their capital gains tax if they do it the right way, but still they have capital gains tax. And so, like when you talk about Puerto Rico, well, Puerto Rico has zero capital gains as long as you meet the criteria and stipulations, which means you got to be full time in the country. Your kids got to go to school there. You have to pay $10,000 a year. 5,000 of it can be to any type of nonprofit you want. The other 5,000 has to be to the government supplied list that they give you. So there are stipulations, but still, if you're a real big trader or if you have some wealth and you got to throw in 10 grand. And you're moving millions of dollars, which means huge capital gains tax. If you're an American in America, that savings is huge. So Costa Rica, right? There's countries that have no capital gains tax, and so if we could be one of the countries that don't have capital gains tax, you got a lot of companies that would come here to set up for their crypto businesses, their blockchain businesses, and be in America. So it would be huge. I haven't seen anything that radical in my lifetime, So, like if I had to bet on that, I would probably bet it's not going to happen. But even if we get a reduction, like we're cutting it in half, that would be great for us, all of us in crypto, and that would be great for America in general.
They're gonna push hard. The wealthy are gonna push hard because think about the dudes that helps the most are the guys with the money, right? Those
It sure
capital
does.
gains. They do not want to play with that. And I mean, on a smaller scale, it makes us happy, but it really makes them happy. So like that's a little thing that they could do, to add to the pockets a little bit without having a huge impact on,
So-
us as a
So,
a
Billy-
nation, really. What's up?
Would it be advantageous to, move the tax date back or get a file for an extension? And then, I mean, you think it's something that they might pass soon? Maybe we could, avoid paying tax? I
Oh,
don't
you're gonna
know.
owe them taxes, bro. I mean, if they pass it, it ain't going to be backwards
I'm
compatible.
just trying to think about this thing because if this is really going to happen, we might as well take advantage of it, right?
You would then amend your tax return on the next year anyway. So one way or another,
Yeah.
just do what
Oh.
you got to do. But like he said, it'll probably be for the next fiscal year is more than likely the way
Right.
it would work out. But again,
And
like, if
probably more than one, probably two.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
You know,
Are
'cause
there
they'll
any
have to
rules
get-
or regulations that you guys want to see inside of the framework, or you're hoping for? That you're just like, oh
Ban
man, if they
memes.
would finally fix this.
Yeah.
Jimmy
Ban
said
meme
ban
coins.
memes.
I'm not a fan of those either.
Well, the stablecoin legislation would be good to really have a definition on stablecoin, and for them to decide. So one of the things Trump said was that they definitely are not going to have any CBDC for us, right? For the people, but behind the scenes on the government rails, overnight monies, right? The SWIFT system, that's where XRP comes into play. Which companies are they going to use, or which coins are they going to use, or tokens? It could be either or, I guess, that they're going to use to kind of quickly, efficiently move money, governments to governments, right? Overseas transactions. So I think we need some definition on that. I think that would be good for the space, along with this tax structure, because it's so complicated right now. The tax structure. I mean, think about NFTs, and think about, like, even if you have a API. So you have a accounting firm that has APIs. You take an NFT, you buy it from an exchange, you send it to your MetaMask wallet. From your MetaMask wallet, you send it over to OpenSea. From OpenSea, you sell it. It's a nightmare, man. It is a nightmare. You have cost basis on that, just like anything else. Maybe you held it for 2 years and it went up or it went down, either one, and you sell it for less. You got to know your cost basis. It's just a lot of tracking. So that is part of, you got to have better technology within the space, of course, but that's the taxing on that is kind of crazy. So we need to simplify that and have good accounting for that as well through the tax legislation. I don't know, what do you think? Jimmy, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, we got to look at it like this. Just for, I guess, sanity purposes, right? 4 years ago, we had one road leading to Valhalla, right? And the gates were closed. The gates are open now. We've got an ETF. And then right now, really, any of a number of things, I would equate it to like some of those cruise ship videos when they're going past a big glacier, and you sit there and you watch a damn video for 45 seconds and you're hearing stuff and there's little chunks of ice falling off, and then all of a sudden boom, the big part falls off. So I mean, let's look at it like this. They start dropping interest rates, they put money in people's pocket, boom, that can set something off, right? They could come out with more announcements. They're going to go in front of Congress and try to push this reserve thing through. Boom, that could set something off. I mean, I could sit here and probably list at least 5 things right now that they're on the roadmap to occur, that they could occur in short order, and that just really, start that big chunk, falling off the iceberg, if you will. The situation right now, it sucks, right? I mean, everybody thought we were going to be in a very different place than we are right now today. But again, I've said it many times, you got to be patient. And when you think you're being patient, you got to be more patient. And it's going to happen. We've got the right people in the right places. They're thinking right. Just it's boots on the ground time, right? I mean, we just got to get some of this stuff to actually follow through. And when it does, I think it's going to be a domino effect. What that one thing is, I don't know. But there's a lot of good things happening if you just lift your head and look around at the news stories and read between the lines and not take them for what they are. I mean, I'm still bullish. I just think this could be a part of just what a new market looks like, a bigger market. Just everything's telling me, sit on your hands right now, right? But we're fixing to get presented with a bunch of opportunity, take advantage of the opportunity, and then be patient and just wait. It'll happen.
So one of the things that I
go
always
ahead.
challenge people to take a step back. Take a step back, and if you were to ask yourself 2 years ago, where did you think Bitcoin was going to be at? Price-wise, adoption-wise, regulation-wise. And I think we're hitting all 3 wickets right now, even with the current pullback. Even with the current pullback, we're sitting at $81,000 per Bitcoin. 2021 was the peak of euphoria for Bitcoin at 69K, and we are still above that.
And plus some of us, right? A lot of people in the community here in the chat and on the panel here, I remember that, right? So we were part of it. So like the whole idea of where is the bottom now going to be? So we watched it move down, right? And for me, I remember it ranging at 27,000 forever. It seemed like that just went on for months, man. And it got down to 16, 15, 8, whatever, depending on your exchange. But I remember people saying it was going to $7,500, from that 69. And so there's a point in time, since we've already been through that, we've lived that, right? Where you just pull the trigger during the bear market and you say, this is the year. And we held out, right? And we bought Bitcoin at $16,000, $19,000. Now, so when you're sitting here at TradeFly saying it's at $81,000, I'm like, doggone, those are good investments. Even though it doesn't feel like it, because we have all these other altcoin positions that just haven't really taken off, right? But those were doggone great decisions, and we're preparing to be in that situation again. And so we know what to do. So to me, that's what I'm saying. It's positive. It's like all positive, whether this is a pullback and then we're still going to go higher, or whether it's already peaked and, we're going to trickle down. It really doesn't matter. And I guess you can say that with more confidence and a feeling in your heart and gut that you know what you're talking about, because you've already been there and you've already went through it, right? So
Right.
it gives you that little more sense of peace and confidence because you get it, and so
It's time in the market. I mean, I tell people that all these new people that I bring in, they're, what exchange, what should I buy, this and that. And I was like, dude, nothing is going to train you better than time in the market. You know, I mean, you've got to live this stuff. You've got to breathe it. And when you do, it starts to make sense. You know, you get or I should say, you get detached from the money. You know, part of that. As long as you're not putting yourself in the wrong position. You know, I mean, if you're entering this waiting, you know, trying to get that Hail Mary, you're gonna probably drop the pass every single time. You know. And again, I mean, I've said it many a times. That's why I'm just looking for a bunch of first downs. If I can get a bunch of first downs, I'm going to score a touchdown. You know, I don't need the Hail Marys. That's why I'm not a fan of meme coins. That's like has desperation written all over it. You know, and look, there's some people out there, they're good at that. You know, not knocking that part of it. I mean, you know, got to hate the game, not the player, right? But you know, just not my cup of tea by any means.
Yeah, and on the trading end, you know, the trading side only, you know, we'll trade anything, right? You got something with good movement, good liquidity, higher, you know, not a degen market cap, but a pretty good market cap. Yeah, we'll trade it. We'll jump in, jump out, you know, trade it. But as far as owning in our long-term hodl bags, yeah, no, I'm pretty much, yeah, I'm everything in my hodl bags top 20. I think it always has been. I don't have any long-term degen plays, anything like that in my ledger, right? So, yeah, just and look, we say ETH. Well, I know a lot of us were able in 2022 to get ETH at 800, 850. So when you look, what did it get up to this year, Trade Flight? Did it or this
It went
in 23?
over
Didn't it get up
4K.
to almost $3,000 or
It went
something?
over 4K.
4K.
I want to say, if I can remember off the top of my head, it's retested that area about 3 times now.
So think about that. Where's altcoin season? You bought in 22 at $850, and it goes to $4,000, and you wonder where altcoin season is. That's pretty good return on your money, man. At 2 years,
I'm saying. Like, if you're looking at traditional investments, if you're looking at the S&P, now it did very well, you know, over the past year and a half, 2 years. But if you look at some of the traditional investments, like, you are expecting somewhere around what, a 10 to 12% return or so. Like, we're crushing that, and that is one of the reasons I love like crypto, and that's why I've changed like the allocation of my portfolio in terms of like where I'm putting my assets now. You know, that I've allocated more to crypto than I was before, just based on that. Now, am I going all in? Hell no. I'm still doing my IRA and I'm still doing my 401k, but believe me, like a little bit more is now going to crypto because I think that's where the gains still lie. And I am still in the, you know, I guess it's where you're at in life too. Like for me, I'm in a point where I can still be very aggressive with my investments. I'm not at that point where I'm kind of tailoring off and weaning off and kind of making things a little more conservative and turning into dividends and all that. You know, like right now it's like I'm trying to grow. Like I want to go sit on the cruise ship for more than a week. You know, so
I want to own the cruise ship.
Yeah, I want a yacht and I want the go-kart.
It's
on my
probably
yacht,
cheaper than owning a house right now.
Actually, so I it's funny you say that, and it's totally just you threw me off here into another topic of conversations. But did you know there are people that live on cruise ships like for the majority of the year because it is cheaper?
Yep.
I had no idea. I just learned that.
There's a lot of retirees doing that, you know, in cruise ship season, just live on cruise ships. I mean, it's
wild.
I mean, why not? I mean, if you're into that, you know, I mean, I'm not a big cruise guy myself, but I mean, if I find myself at 70 and not a lot of money and that makes sense. Hell yeah. I mean, what a better retirement home than a cruise ship, you know?
Somebody's cooking your food, man.
Food, new neighbors all the time. Swimming pool.
I didn't know that. I did not know that, Trade Flight. That's interesting.
I just learned that one.
I mean, you're going to be in a little cabin, but I mean, you know, it's better than being on the street, right?
No doubt.
Well, the sickness though, man. Some of those outbreaks, man. You're
Oh.
stuck out there, and I'll be like, oh man, I gotta get out of here, and you can't. There's nowhere to go. You know.
Well, yeah, y'all can just put me on one of them boards and right over the side, bear me at sea. That's fine. Whatever. I won't give a crap at that point.
Well, we also have on the list things we were going to talk about today. Was
I did have one more question.
yeah? Go ahead, go ahead, Dave.
So I think there was a notable absentee or somebody that wasn't invited. That's been pretty significant and seems like the policy behind the scenes, and that's Charles Hodgkinson. He was not there, correct?
Yeah, he was not there.
What do
He
y'all
put
think
out a
about
video
that?
on that. He put out, it's like this, man. They couldn't invite everybody, right? So Charles definitely is plugged in to that committee and those people and Trump. So you can't. It's like Vitalik wasn't there, right? So I mean, how they came to actually pick that list, I don't know. I really don't know, and you could speculate, but Charles basically in a nutshell said, look, it's okay. It's no big deal. We're plugged in. We are going to help the administration in any way we can, and we're going to be part of this thing for the future. So, he's one of the founders that is always out there, that he's accessible. He's been on our space, right? I mean, you met him, Red Man. You walked right up to him and you guys talked at the Vegas convention there. There's no real other founder that's out there like that and really doing a lot of posts, a lot of spaces, a lot of interactions. He's been on Sin City. He's been on a lot of channels. And so I like that. He's a billionaire. He's a billionaire, and he's one of us. He wants to change the world. He thinks Cardano can do it. Whether he's right or not, who knows, right? But he's definitely a different presence than some of these other guys, and I respect him for that.
Yeah, Charles is he's approachable. When you see him out there, you can go to him and say hi, and he's not gonna dismiss you. And that's humongous. And when I talked to him, first of all, he said he wanted to come back on the show. But I've been messaging. So Charles, if you're out there, check your messages and get back to me, because I'm trying to bring you back on the show, buddy. We would
Come on,
love to
Givers
have
Gang community. We know you can do it. We know we got the people in the chat that can go get them to come on over. So go get them, Givers Gang community.
Yeah, let's go. Let's bring him
We need to
back
get him
in.
on a Sunday.
Yeah, get him on a YouTube show, not just on the space.
Now he will take us down past that. We might need a thesaurus beside us to figure out what he says sometimes, because he's a
Very
very
true.
smart dude.
But it's a good
Yeah, I
conversation.
can't
It is good
understand
conversation.
It definitely makes you
what he
think.
says.
It'll make you think.
Right. Yep. What do you think of that trade fly about Dave's question at Charles not being there?
I mean, personally, I don't think it's that big a deal. I mean, we recognize him as a face in the industry just because, like you said, he's so present. And he definitely interacts with a lot of us, whether it be spaces. He's very active in the community. But at the same time, like, I don't think it's a big miss. He got a great gift from Trump. They listed Cardano as one of the ones that was going to be part of the reserve. I mean, my man's got to be happy about that. So, like you said, I think he is intertwined with that community already, I'm sure. I don't think it's a big deal. And we'll see what kind of comes in the future, that's only the first of probably many meetings that are going to happen here.
For sure. Let me type this in real quick, trying to keep track of the stuff. Okay. Yeah, so Dave, you good on that, on the summit stuff? I did want to hit real quick how many we have, about 6 minutes left. So I did want to hit on the connection with Trump and Ukraine, because it came out that hey, Zelensky's going to be coming back and signing that raw minerals deal, a raw earth deal, a rare earth deal, and then that didn't happen. Any thoughts on that? What do you guys predict is going to happen with that?
Can I chime in as someone literally from Europe?
Absolutely, DDT.
The issue
I guess
is,
you can. I mean, it seems fair.
I know he has the right to defend himself, or they have their right to defend, right? But it's just too much at play, kind of with everything now. It's now like 20 pawns against each other, which is a problem for me. It just makes it all a big mess. And from what I've seen, kind of what Putin is trying to say is he wants to have less people at the bargaining table. At the moment, Europe is pushing too many people into the negotiations. Now you got America, you probably have China, you probably have all these other people. Putin wants less people to speak to. And I think the problem, the vested interests now in the resolution is the biggest problem at hand, because now obviously you've got rare earth deals, you've got everyone wanting to get a cut, right? It just looks really bad to me. Obviously we do want peace, but the problem is the resolution is that Ukraine are going to have to give away stuff, right? Or some form of payback, kind of barter in the kind of in that process. But then also as well, Russia doesn't want to have too many bargaining people kind of trying to bargain him down. I think that's also kind of a power play between Russia. So if it's like maybe Russia, UK, US, and maybe 2 EU states, like probably that might work, and obviously with Ukraine and their representatives. But I think there's just too many people throwing different ideas and different things out there, and that's kind of what's dragging this out that's what's going to drag it out. And I think Trump is also being kind of one to say that for the most part, they're trying to keep the peace talk simple and kind of straightforward, because it's just been, well, from what I've seen on news, it's just a cacophony. They're trying to resolve the issue, but there's too many people fighting for different resolutions. It's like the common ground is that we want peace. We want Russia to get out of Ukraine. We want Ukraine to actually kind of take back I don't know what all the things are, but yeah, can you understand? I think there's too many moving parts in this that I think Trump and Putin are trying to limit, to make it less moving parts, make it an easier resolution, a quicker resolution. But the problem is there's too many people involved now, and everyone still wants to be involved. Like, I don't know. I'm just very simple in this whole thing to say that simplify it now. And kind of, it's obviously a lot more than that, but that's kind of, and also as well, Europe's just throwing money. Europe doesn't have the money to throw. UK just gave them 2.6 billion of loans. It's like, where the frick is that coming from? You're not taxing us more. You're running a deficit and you're just throwing 2.6 billion at them. It's like, come on. It doesn't make sense. You're going to bankrupt our country because
They've been watching America too much. At least they made it a loan and just not a straight up donation like we did. That's just crazy. My bet is that I mean, if you read The Art of the Deal way before Trump was a politician, just back when he was a businessman. So I always read business books, right? I was trying to always learn The Art of the Deal. Great business book. And it was pro-political Trump, right? It was back when he was respected by Republicans and Democrats as far as being a businessman. So in there, he kind of teaches you how to negotiate. And he, in that meeting, long story short, I'm going to bet that Zelensky signs that rare earth mineral deal, because in the end, like Trump said in there, you don't have the cards. What he was basically trying to say, like he said in the book, was, look, you have to understand leverage. You have to understand leverage, and you have to understand that what I throw out in the beginning is not the final product of what we end up negotiating. The throw out in the beginning is for brand and for the publicity and for the chatter that he's always been. That was written prior to his political side. And so it's like, yeah, if you read that, man, it's like he's probably doing the same thing, right? Which means the political chatter and what he throws out in the beginning isn't going to be the final version of the deal. It's all he just did it with the reserve, right? He announced, like you said, TradeFly. He announced Solana and Cardano were going to be, and then you get a little closer. What happens? Yeah, it's a Bitcoin reserve, right? And Andy and I were talking about that. But I think if I was betting man, I'm saying I think that deal gets done. They need the presence, and if you heard them, part of where that rare earth materials at is already being occupied in Ukraine by Russia. So that would mean, forecasting forward, that part of the negotiation was Putin, you got to get out of there, because that's going to be where we have our agreement with Ukraine, and that's where the rare earth is. And so my bet would be that deal actually happens in some form or some shape, because basically both sides need it. And what do you think, Jimmy?
Well, I'm tired of funding other countries' wars, for sure. I mean, I mean, it's just endless, right? I mean, it's the baby on the mama's thing right here. I mean, we need to fix us first. I think that funding to all countries for all the BS reasons. We cut. I mean, there you go. I mean, there's another big chunk of ice off of the glacier right there. You start cutting all these programs, and now we've got some money laying around. Okay, now what do we do with it? Well, we got this crypto reserve thing. I mean, we're just so early on the first stages of that, iceberg crumbling. Still, I mean, still. But yeah, the Ukraine war, there's not going to be an end to it until someone steps in and says stop and negotiate something. I'm all for it myself.
Yep.
I
All
think
right,
that's where
guys.
we're headed, honestly. Like that's, he's stepping in now. Like he's put his foot down and be like, oh, this needs to stop. Like this is kind of where we're headed. But one of the things that, and I'll keep it very quick.
Sure, man.
One,
Go
I'll
ahead.
piggyback on you and say business 101, right? Like, and I know a couple of you are very astute businessmen. You're very successful, but you swing for the fences. It starts the negotiations. And then after that, we meet in the middle somewhere. It's like a used car salesman. You go buy a new car, and what do? They give you the worst offer you could imagine. You can imagine, like, I'm giving you the worst, and you're like, nah, I'm not. It's been a good talk. We'll think about something else here. And they're like, oh, hold on, let me go talk to my manager. I'll be back. And then
Yep.
you start talking real.
Yep, you got to start at the top and work your way down. That's what we call
That's
that.
it, man. When
Start
you
at the
start
top,
talking
you work your way
hundreds of
down.
dollars, you know you got them. All right, that's when you close the deal. But it's going to take you hours to get there. All right, so the other thing is people have to understand the importance of Ukraine, both to Europe and to the U.S. It is a strategic place on the map. Understand where it's at, understand what it's near, and then you start to understand the importance of Ukraine when you start looking at it on a map. So I would say do that, and then you'll be like, well, why is the U.S. doing this? Well, where is South Korea? Now I see. There's North Korea. Why are we in Japan? Why are we in Germany? Why have we stayed in some of these countries and we continue to prolong our presence in these areas? Why are we still in the Middle East? It's strategic, and you guys really need to understand, like, where is that next to? All right, so start looking at a map, and then you'll start understanding why we're funding some of these wars, or why we're still there, and why we still have a presence. And that's some of the things that you'll be like, okay, I understand. But yes, I totally agree. I don't want to fund any of this stuff, to be perfectly frank with you, but understanding a little bit too, there's a bigger picture. There's a little bit more at play sometimes, especially when you come from a military perspective. And, opening up the doors to, you know, further issues later on down the road. And like I said, it's very simple. Like, I can only say so much, but I would say just look at a map and start looking at these places and where they're at, and then it'll start clicking for you of why we're involved. And that's one thing I'll say there, just kind of as a closing comment.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, look, we kind of went over our time slot, but great conversation. We appreciate you in our chat community. Thank you for sharing your time with us on Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, especially with the time change. Everybody's kind of like, I know today I got up and I was like, doggone, man, I've already lost an hour, right? It sucks. So we appreciate you all. Thanks for tuning in. And with that, we're going to say we're out of here for today. We love you all. Have a